attention and drawn to him on the big screen since at least 2006. That should give the producers of this film, DC Comics and Warner Brothers, enough reason to keep distributing Superman movies over a period of years, especially with how many movies Marvel Comics release. Of course, Marvel Comics have very detailed superheroes with a lot of history, so they're always coming up with a reason to release a sequel or to release a new superhero movie. Everything has been falling into place for Marvel Comics and Stan Lee for quite some time. So I think that DC Comics needs to distribute a series of movies and create enough competition for their adversary Marvel Comics, because it seems as if Marvel Comics dominates when it comes to superhero movies. Now, the Green Lantern that was released by DC Comics a couple of years ago was a very different perception of a superhero movie. I love the detail that went into that one. Of course, The Dark Knight Rises is a follow-up to the 2008 Dark Knight movie with Batman and the Joker going to war for one of the final times on the big screen. That was awesome. DC Comics releases very detailed movies, and the length their movies is something to take into consideration as well. The last Batman movie was almost 3 hours in length. I think it was anywhere from 12 to 13 minutes off of 3 hours. If you were to go through the entire history of a superhero like Superman, it would literally take you at least 4 to 5 hours. The script would be that detailed. There would be no way that DC Comics and the directors and producers and the cast will be able to pull it off. So there's only so much that you can do with a theatrical release, and of course the Superman movie from 2006 did leave us with a lot of questions. Now, I'm not saying we will not have some of those questions answered in this follow-up, but with the way this movie is being perceived with an entirely different cast, some of those questions from the 2006 release probably will remain unanswered and give DC Comics another reason to release a Superman movie maybe 2 or 3 years from now. That's usually how they do it. Youth are responding to this movie also very effectively as well, and syndicated television and radio networks pertaining to youth programming are talking about this movie a lot, and we have seen so many trailers of this film over the last couple of weeks. Why wouldn't this film take the #1 spot in the box office, especially with the response that it's receiving from youth? They are also on Facebook. They have a fan page for the new Superman movie and a Twitter account to keep you in the loop of Superman the Man of Steel news. I think this movie is going to receive a tremendous amount of publicity given the amount of advertising that it's receiving from DC and Warner Brothers. They are financially backing this, and when it makes its premiere, when they have the red carpet premiere of Superman this June, after the red carpet premiere, the publicity usually starts with this movie, and we're going to see a lot of talk show appearances by some of the cast members. We're going to hear reviews of it on television and radio, and we're going to hear everything from positive to negative reviews. So it's going to be a mixture of everything, and I'm sure with how it's being talked about right now, it's definitely going to take the #1 spot in the box office. Hey, if Iron Man 3 from Marvel can generate over $193 million, Superman the Man of Steel can generate $293 million. That is double the amount of the Marvel movie Iron Man 3, which was the follow-up, of course, to Iron Man 1 through 2. And as I initially said, this is going to be a big summer for superhero movies. You have Superman the Man of Steel, and now you have Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, being released, the follow-up to the 2012 The Amazing Spider-Man movie, where the Spider-Man and the Lizard went one-on-one for the first time on the big screen. So a lot of Spider-Man fans are looking forward to that one. Big summer, as I initially just said and put it over the microphone, for superhero movies. So Superman does have a little bit of competition. He just has to be thankful that Batman doesn't have a movie coming around the same time he does, because with how successful that Batman movie was from 2012, both theatrically and on DVD and Blu-ray, the confrontation between Batman and Bane for the first time ever, I think if Batman were to release a sequel to that movie, which was receiving standing ovations and applauses for the trailers that were airing before movies that had nothing to do with Batman. If Batman were releasing a movie around the same time as Superman, I think Batman would definitely dominate in the box office for the entire month. Because Batman or the Green Lantern aren't releasing a movie around the same time, Superman is pretty much guaranteed to dominate in the box office within the first month of its release, and probably for part of July, which is usually how they do it. They're probably going to spin Superman more than any other theatrical release playing around the same time as well. So it's going to have publicity, it's going to have a tremendous amount of merchandise, and of course they just released an all-new animated movie called Superman Reborn, and it's going to be awesome seeing that and how that perceives itself when the buy rates of the DVD and Blu-ray are released. And of course, Injustice Gods Among Us, the video game, is a great way to promote superheroes and kind of bring it all back and put it all together for DC Comics. I just recently played Injustice Gods Among Us. There was so much detail that went into that video game, a combination of Mortal Kombat and DC superheroes. Great way to promote Superman. The animated movie Superman Reborn is a movie that I think that will really heighten the anticipation for Superman, the Man of Steel. Of course, this is all put in place to promote this theatrical release. I have to give it to DC Comics because I have never seen a superhero movie since at least Batman The Dark Knight Rises, the follow-up to the 2008 sequel, that has received this much promotion, this much publicity, and that is an indication to me that DC Comics are looking to double the amount of money or even triple the amount of money if they can, if it's at all possible. Anything is possible when it comes to a superhero movie that they put in out of this movie, because they will spend to make this movie a success, be it that it's the first superhero movie pertaining to Superman since 2006. It's been 7 years to be exact since the Superman movie was released, and with an entirely different cast, they will spend to make this Superman movie perhaps the most successful of at least the last 5 Superman movies, or movies that have had anything to do with Superman, anything in general that we have seen in previous years. This is going to be awesome. Seeing how far this movie will go, and the sky is literally the limit when it comes to a Superman movie, because Superman has always been popular. Everybody knows, or at least has known about the history of Superman for at least the last 60 years. I know I've been an avid follower of Superman ever since I could remember watching the original series on television, watching the Smallville series when Superman was actually going to high school. Everybody remembers the many seasons and many episodes of Smallville, which are currently available now on DVD and Blu-ray and everything. That was so much history with Superman, and if we were to go through the entire history of Superman, it would take us literally years to do it. Hopefully we will get a series of movies from DC Comics pertaining to this Man of Steel series, which is going to be released. I hope we just don't see one and that's it. I'm hoping that we see other follow-ups to successful superhero movies. Even Iron Man 4 is a possibility. Another Batman movie would be great because of the conclusion of it, leaving us with so many questions. DC Comics have reasons to release movies, and hopefully they will take advantage of those reasons because of how Marvel dominates seemingly all the time in the box office. They are always coming up with a legitimate and acceptable reason for releasing a movie pertaining to one of their top superheroes. They have a reason now to come out with a new Spider-Man movie. This new spin Marvel have put on Spider-Man looks absolutely awesome. I was blown away with the Amazing Spider-Man from 2012, the first Spider-Man movie since at least 2007. Spider-Man 3 starring Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, and just the detail that went into it. You found out about Spider-Man's childhood, the relationship that he had with his parents, the relationship he also had with his Uncle Ben, was spent about 45 minutes on in that movie. Things that we didn't get a chance to see, a lot of detail for in the original Spider-Man movies 1 through 3 in 2002 to 2007. Marvel did such a fantastic job with that, and the Iron Man trilogy this past May, the sequel to Iron Man 1 through 2, had a lot of detail, and there was a tremendous job done with that because it generated over $193 million. So to say that Marvel has not dominated in the box office would be a fucking lie. So they definitely have dominated. So DC Comics really got to step it up, and they really got to come through with the Man of Steel. If you are watching us on YouTube, you see the poster, there it is right there, of the Man of Steel. Tell us what you think of it on Facebook at facebook.com/HW Entertainment, on Twitter with a creative hashtag at JonathanClarke1, and on youtube.com/JonathanClarke22, the brand new YouTube 1 channel of HW Entertainment, where you can watch video archives from HW Entertainment Radio. In addition to that, you can also see audio archives of HW Entertainment Radio. You can download them off our official website in a radio form. The Superman, the Man of Steel movie, I am thinking that this movie is going to generate double, perhaps even triple, than what it's being put into it, and I think that this movie is going to receive more publicity perhaps than any other superhero movie, even though there is worthy competition hitting theaters this summer for the Superman, the Man of Steel movie. It's going to take the #1 spot in the box office, and you're probably going to be tired of hearing about it on entertainment reviews, entertainment news programs, entertainment news websites are going to be jumping all over Superman, the Man of Steel. The cast is going to be giving this a tremendous amount of publicity, and with how Warner Brothers and DC Comics are financing this movie together, this movie is definitely going to get to the top of the box office and stay there for probably the entire month that it's playing theatrically, and probably part of July, kind of similar to the amount of success that the Batman The Dark Knight Rises movie received just last year. The top movie of the box office this summer, definitely the Man of Steel, Superman. Everybody is talking about it. Make sure you check it out. It's the first Superman movie in over 7 years. And send me your feedback. Facebook.com/HW Entertainment, Twitter.com @JonathanClarke1, and YouTube.com/JonathanClarke22. The brand new YouTube One channel of HW Entertainment. Thank you guys so much for sharing our links on our Facebook page and recently subscribing to our YouTube channel. I've noticed we have a few new YouTube subscribers. If you are not one of them, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/JonathanClarke22, and also subscribe to us on Facebook at facebook.com/HW Entertainment, and join the hundreds of users who are already contributing to the conversation of HW Entertainment Radio on Facebook. Superman, the Man of Steel, is in theaters everywhere this June. It's going to be one of the biggest of the entire summer. If you have not seen the trailer, it is on our Twitter at JonathanClarke1, and it is one of our featured videos currently right now at the bottom of a radio form. It is one of the most detailed Superman movie trailers that I have seen in years, at least ever since 2006. A lot of people are choosing this movie as a follow-up